Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us for Cooking with the Count. Tonight we're going to make a flank steak stroganoff, which is going to be really delicious. Along with today's Friday here, and we're using up all the vegetables that I purchased through the week that we haven't had a chance to use. I started cutting up my meat a little bit. Here's a nice piece of flank steak, and of course we have mushrooms, and we have sour cream, we have heavy cream, we have condensed milk or evaporated milk, our onions, parsley, pepper, salt, and of course the star of the show, the flank steak. Now, whenever you're dealing with a flank steak, you see the grain, you always want to cut across the grain. Otherwise, you'll be chewing forever. Now, again, we are entertaining. So this is a bigger batch than what you'll be making, but I promised you, if you go to www.cookingwiththecount.com, I try to make it for a family of 4, so you can adjust it accordingly. I'm making for about 10 people, so it's going to be a little bit more, but in the same breath, I never mind a leftover. If we were fortunate enough to have a leftover when I cook, it'd be great, but most of the time it's gone. So anyway, let's get started. Now, I'm going to cut my strip steak into very small pieces. As you can see, this is what you want. Just nice little tender pieces. Now, I'm going to go ahead. I'm not going to fight this thing. I'm going to cut it in half. And this way here will be a little bit easier to handle. I love cooking, and I love eating, and I love entertaining, and I'm going to do it all while I'm here because I don't know if they're going to have it in heaven. So we're going to have a little bit of fun while we're here. Okay, and we're back. As you can see, I've got all my meat chopped up or cut up, and now I'm going to concentrate on these vegetables a little bit. I mean, we've got red peppers, we've got mushrooms, onions, eggplant, broccoli, pineapple. Now don't knock it until you try it. Artichokes, zucchini, squash, eggplant, and what we're going to do is we're going to put a fair amount of olive oil all over this. And the chicken seasoning. That should be good. And we're going to mix this all up. Kind of work it all together. You can make a mess, we can clean it up after. But this really is my family's favorite. I mean, we love vegetables. My daughter, I swear to God, she likes vegetables over candy. But this is really good for you. And all those flavors meld together so nicely. I mean, wait till it comes out of the oven, and I'm sure you're going to be getting a little bit closer to your screen to get a better look. I promise you, I'll try to give you the best look I can. But this is really, really, really good. You don't need salt, you don't need pepper. This is really about all you're going to need. Okay, now we're going to brown up our meat, and we're going to do it in stages because I've got quite a bit. Okay, a little olive oil. Get that nice and hot. You know, I'm going to give another plug to Hammerstall or American Clad. If you don't do anything, buy one good pan. You're going to spend a small paycheck for it, but I can guarantee you your food will be so much better. So, in the meantime, I'm getting there. Right, here's a sizzle. Now don't turn your meat. Just let it get nice and brown. I just want you to see what I'm talking about. I want to brown this meat. See, like this. That's perfect. It's going to have maximum flavor. Really nice and tender. We're down to the last batch of our flank steak. And as you can see, I've browned this up pretty nicely. As you can see, our pan has the beautiful drippings. This is what I'm going to be using to make my sauce. So, turn that down for a minute, spread these around. I mean, you want to talk about tender meat? This stuff is so tender, a baby could chew it. And we're going to add our onions. We're going to sweat them down. Check that out. Now we're going to add our mushrooms. I've simmered down the mushrooms. Got most of the juice out of them. These are looking great. They're nice and tender. And I think it's just about time to go ahead and reduce our heat down to a simmer. We can put our salt and pepper in there. I get about a teaspoon of salt. I got black pepper. Nice. And now we're going to add our heavy cream. That is looking beautiful. As you can see, this is thickened up nicely. So now we're going to add just a little bit of sherry. Maybe a quarter cup. Let's go ahead and add our evaporated milk. Okay, now that we've got everything worked in, you see how nice and creamy that is? We're going to go ahead and add the last thing, and that's the sour cream. Okay, now we're going to work this all in nicely. Now, you know, the nice part about this will freeze up well, and you can heat it up at your convenience. It's a great middle of the week meal that the family can enjoy. They've got a soccer game or whatever. It's always nice to have a fallback instead of running out for quick food or whatever. Look at this. This is gonna be great. Okay, now we're using our Wonder, and we're gonna thicken this up a little bit more. Add a little bit, keep on stirring till I get to the consistency I want, instead of throwing in a cup of it and saying, oh good God, now I've got wallpaper paste. So just work it, keep on working it nicely, and when we get it to where we want it, then we're gonna put our steak back in. Wonder is a nice product. If you haven't tried it before, I strongly suggest you pick up a can of it. It's good for any type of gravy. It doesn't clump like flour, and doesn't need to be cooked down as much as flour and what have you, and it works absolutely beautifully. As you can see, there's no lumps or anything else in there from the Wonder. And I guess I might as well go ahead and turn my noodles on. Get that water boiling, because this doesn't have that much more time to cook. Okay, And the last ingredient, parsley. Work that in there. That. And now we're gonna put our steak right in there, like so. And that's all gonna meld together until the noodles are cooked. Can you say, uh-huh? I'll put that juice right in there too. And now we're going to put the cover on and wait for the noodles to finish up. I'm looking forward to this meal. We'll be back shortly. Okay, we've got it plated up. And I'll tell you what, I'm so looking forward to eating this. As you can see, our vegetables came out absolutely gorgeous. I mean, you've got peppers, you've got broccoli, you've got eggplant, you've got onions, squash, zucchini. I mean, talk about a melody. And they all play so well together. It will be something that you will really, truly enjoy. I mean, of course, we got our fresh bread. It came out a little funky, but you know something, I'm not worried about it because I'm going to use this bread. This is nice and moist. The crust is absolutely beautiful, and I'm going to be sopping up some of this great stroganoff. Now, you know, it's truly a pretty plate, and this meat is so tender. It is absolutely divine. So, with that, I thank you once again for joining us with Cooking with the Count. You can find this recipe on our website at www.cookingwiththecount.com. If you sign on to our blog at the bottom, you'll get a copy of every recipe, even if you're not following everything that we're doing. And you can take it from there. I hope you're just not watching. I hope you're actually trying this, because the recipes and the comments that I'm getting from people are astounding. You have pushed us over 250,000 views on our website, and I thank you for that. God bless you. Bon appetit. Good night.